let's start by just telling us a little bit about yourself and your operation here.
Well, I've been farming since 1980 on my own. I'm in Southampton County, Virginia. Since 1980 I've been farming around 800 acres of land total. Small farm operation. Been growing corn, soybeans, cotton, peanuts. Recently started messing with some wheat, double cropping beans behind that.
Okay. So how many acres of peanuts did you grow this year?
Somewhere around 143, 145 acres.
Okay. Okay, Jay, I want to focus on your peanut fungicide program for a second. Typically, which products and approximately what kind of timing have you typically been applying these products in your standard program?
Normally around 45 days out to plant, and I've been spraying for the last couple of 3 years a product like Tilt Bravo. Then basically on a 14-day schedule or following the leaf spot advisory program. Been coming in the second spray with a product like a Bang, and then using again at 2 weeks or whatever the leaf spot advisory is calling for, Provost, and then ending up 15, 14 days later or something along that line with Headline.
What kind of disease pressure do you typically have in your fields?
All of them. Well, naturally, leaf spot, you got black root rot, you got rhizoctonia, you got limb rot, you got white mold. I mean, you just keep right on getting up. How many more you want to name?
So, if you were going to give a value to your white mold pressure, would you say you've got high white mold pressure, medium, low white mold pressure?
I always thought I had kind of maybe a medium white mold problem until I used your product this year. And now I'm beginning to wonder maybe if that medium is more like a high problem.
Okay. Did you see, how much leaf spot did you see out there in your crop this year?
Very little to none this year.
Okay. So getting back to your typical program, which you said consisted of a Tilt Bravo, followed by an Abound, a Provost, and a Headline. As far as when you walked out into the field and you looked at the disease pressure, how satisfied were you with things just visually?
Completely.
Okay.
I mean, as far as your leaf spot pressure was concerned.
All right. Now, when you dug your peanuts and you harvested them, as close as what you could guess, how would you say the yield on that Abound, Provost, and Headline program, how did that yields work out?
Well, on this particular farm that we had to test on with the Artisan, the overall farm yield, it was 27 acres on the farm, and we had 8.5 acres involved in the test with the Artisan. The whole farm, 27 acres, averaged 5,711 pounds. And the Artisan yield was, or the field, 8.5 acres that had the Artisan on it, was considerably better.
Okay. When you say considerably better, are we talking a couple 100 pounds?
Well, and you might hate to tell you what the figures say because folks are going to think I'm crazy. But on that particular 8.5 acres, I kept everything separate. And we're looking at 6,821 pounds to the acre.
Wow. That is substantially a lot more peanuts. I'm glad to hear that. Demo, tell me exactly how you applied the Artisan. Did you do it 4 sprays, 2 sprays, and rotate it?
Went with 4 sprays, and at each spray added in a pint of Bravo.
How much Artisan did you use per spray?
1 pint.
Okay, so a pint of Artisan with a pint of Bravo.
Right, 4 times.
4 times.
And these peanuts also had Omega put on them.
Okay.
for sclerotinia.
When you say 4 times, did you start at 45 days?
Started at 45 days just like I did everything else.
Okay.
And well, like I had the 4 sprays with my Tilt Bravo, a Bang, the Provost and the headline, same timing. It was just used the Artisan and the Bravo.
So the only difference between the Provost Abound program and the Artisan demo that we set up, the only difference in the management was just difference in fungicides.
Material, right.
Okay. When you dug the Artisan treatment and you had the peanuts laying on the ground and you had the Provost Abound treatment across the road, when you visually just looked at it before harvesting them, were you able to see any difference between what you thought was laying out there?
Yeah, when I when I dug them, you visually could tell there was more potential for better yield. The biggest thing I can say or try to explain the way the difference was is on the peanuts that the Provost a Bang headline was used on. Don't get me wrong, they were excellent peanuts. But when you look down the road after they had been dug, you would see little places in them that looked like, you know, they kind of waved at you. They were up and down, like you hit a spot that was, you just didn't think you could put any more peanuts in there. Then you hit a spot to where it didn't look like there was quite as many. I mean, it wasn't regular from one end of the field to the other. And when I dug the test plot, it was just from one end of the field to the other. I mean, just you didn't hardly look like you could, you know, put them in there any thicker. It was just a steady roll of them. You didn't see any of those gaps that looked like they kind of eased off some. It was just a steady roll from one end to the other.
Okay. Did you see, when you took the peanuts to the buying point, did you see any difference in quality or fancy versus in the Artisan treatment versus the Provost or Abound treatment?
Not really. If it was, it wasn't. It really wasn't noticeable enough difference to show up in the grade.
Okay. And I guess the last question is.
But then too, I'd like to say when you're dealing with a 74-75% salmon to a peanut, it's getting kind of hard to show a difference there. I mean, you're up there pretty much at the top of the level then.
Sure. Well, Jay, I guess the last question I've really got for you is would you consider using Artisan again after taking a look at what the demo showed us this year?
I've already made up my mind to that fact. Yes, I'm going to be trying it again.
Okay. Well, Jay, thank you. Thank you for your time and being willing to do this with me. I know that the growers that I'm going to show this to will certainly appreciate having somebody else's opinion other than mine. So, I really want to express my thanks to you there. Is there anything else at the end of this that you would like to say?
Yeah, I'd just like to tell the folks that are going to end up seeing this that, I mean, I'm just a hard person convinced as anybody is. I mean, when I was approached this spring about this stuff, I kind of was of the opinion that you really weren't going to see a whole lot of difference. But really and truly, I was impressed. Impressed enough that I will be trying it another year. And I've already told several people in the community about it, that they need to look at it another year. Because it was enough difference to let me know that there is a problem being caused by white mold, and we have not been controlling it the way we have thought we have in the past. Because I mean, there was a considerable amount of difference on them, and I think it's well worth a look at it to see how it works in your operation.
Well, thank you for your comments, Jay. We certainly appreciate this, and look forward to working with you again. Thank you.